A new severe thunderstorm warning has been
I have no
issued.
idea how many viewers I have or anything. So, all right. Well, I need to know if people can hear me. So, if somebody could turn on and listen to the volume, that'd be awesome. Just to listen to see if you can
New
hear.
information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated. New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay, so that is in Indiana or up near Indianapolis. That is, you can hear me? All right, good. Okay, so night one, there's going to be a few hiccups with all this. Anyways, right now, currently, we're starting off, and there's actually a tornado emergency, which is actually the highest rated level.
New
Unfortunately, at this
information,
point,
this tornado
we are
warning has
looking
been
at
updated.
a tornado that is actually approaching the Huntsville, Alabama area. It appears right now, though, on looking at various pics here. Let's see. Let me see if I can get a different angle on it. We're actually seeing a little bit of a loss in the overall. I do not have the availability to pull up chasers yet, as we do not have anybody that is a chaser that has agreed to partner with us. But with that said, we will be working on that in the future. All right. Now, not seeing anything, but it is heading in the general direction of Oakland at this point. I would honestly predict that would be somewhere in the next, at this current speed, probably in the next 15 minutes, it'll be on the west side of Huntsville. With that stated, let's also check around at this moment to check on other areas because that one looks like it's recycling, going to take a few moments. Now, let's move into there's another tornado warning over here that's on its way toward Pontotoc. Oh my, I'm realizing this is going to be more difficult than I thought with some of the names. This one does look like it has a little bit of a signature going currently. However, we haven't quite got anything that is a definitive item. And then the one that is the major issue up in
New
the
information,
Indiana
this severe
area.
thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Fantastic. You will, okay, so there will be a few things that you'll notice that will appear on ours as compared to others at this moment. So you will notice that on our radar, I tend to like to run with a dual type of imagery going on, with your main reflectivity and then your
New
velocity going
information,
on
this tornado
simultaneously.
warning has been updated.
Okay, the major tornado warning has been updated at this point. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so this is still calling this a catastrophic tornado, still observed at this moment, heading toward Huntsville. Now let's check this thing out, see what they got going. It is okay. So yes, this is actually the strongest that the National Weather Service will actually issue for a tornado warning. This is an emergency. It is a large observed tornado heading toward a highly populated area. While we're at it, we're going to check in on a couple that are north of it for a moment while this one continues to move to the east. At this time, we are looking at just south of Christiana, which is just south of Murfreesboro. Murfreesboro. I never can say that quite right because I guess the Indiana in me won't let me do that. With that said, we are looking at Wartrace. Just north of that, there is what looks to be a somewhat, I would say, broad area of rotation, similar to going over here to McMinnville. I do not have a radar. Actually, I do have a radar site that can get us a little closer. That one actually appears just east of McMinnville. There looks like there could possibly be a tornado right here, southeast of Shady Rest. And let's see here. We are looking at this storm is moving ever so slightly to the northeast, which would mean that Spencer, you will actually be in the route of this tornado in approximately somewhere around 10 minutes or so. So please start heading to your safe space if you are in Spencer, Tennessee. And then over here, just north of Shelbyville, that tornado looks like it's currently recycling. It was stronger a few frames ago.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
This is going to be the severe thunderstorm warning that was just updated. That is just west of Tupelo. That is also the one that has a tornado warning attached to it, which at this time it does not appear to be quite as well formed as it
New
could be.
information, this severe
Now,
destructive thunderstorm
we go
warning
check
has
into
been updated.
Yazoo City, severe extreme thunderstorm warning.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has
That would
been
be this
issued.
one here. You're looking at extremely high winds across the area. I still have yet to learn all my tools. My apologies. So anyhow, back up toward Indiana, where some people of mine might actually be watching. So just west of Waynestown, actually near Vetersburg, I know where I am at this point. I grew up in a town over here called Lebanon. Anyhow, this storm is actually, let's check it out over the past few frames. Was strong and tornadic, it looks like a couple of frames back. You can see that it's actually faded in a little bit here. You still have a decent little couplet going on that is actually heading toward Hillsboro, Indiana, and eventually we'll be heading toward the Cherry Grove and Thorntown areas. Now, with that said, of course, you get my cat chattering in the background. So he's talking to the birds outside. With that said, we are looking at, let's go back to check in on our tornado emergency storm down here. And this one looks like we have a recycling that looks like it's going north of Huntsville at this moment, up here near Capshaw. And the main part of the storm that I would be the most
A new
concerned
severe
about,
thunderstorm warning has been issued.
yeah, you should still be in your safe spaces. This is actually about to recycle, it looks like, because your inflow right here looks like it's about to cycle down for another hook echo in order to get enough of a movement. So we're going to keep a watch in this area right here, which is near just north of Greenbrier, still heading toward Oakland. It is heading in the direction of Indian Hills and eventually into the west side of Huntington here, or Huntsville, I'm sorry, here shortly. I haven't been this stressed out since doing broadcast training. I know, I'm just saying this out loud. Ooh, one looking like it's just east of McMinnville is actually looking like it's getting stronger over the past few frames. Now, you can actually see that it's still running pretty strong. It is still heading in the direction of Spencer. So Spencer, Tennessee is still in a very strong tornadic path. It looks like there's also one that's coming in behind it ever so slightly, just northeast of Shelbyville, Tennessee, heading in the direction of Morrison. Unfortunately, it looks like it's following the same path as the storm that was in front of it. So it looks like we're about to have training storms one after the other. Back over here to the Huntsville tornado, which looks like it's actually potentially about to regain strength here in the area of Oakland. They still need to hide. I would honestly still have the people in Huntsville hide. That is that's an unstable area. That's wow. I'm activating a few more things for myself here, so sorry.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
Okay, so this is actually following up with what I stated a few minutes ago here, just
New
west of
information,
Waynestown.
this severe
This is
thunderstorm
that
warning has
tornado
been
that is near
updated.
Hillsboro that I was talking about a few moments ago that looked like it was actually regaining in strength here. Looks like it's staying
New
steady
information, this
and
severe
running,
thunderstorm warning has been
continuing to
updated.
a east, slightly northeast area. It will be heading to, this is my area of the world. It's going to be running just north of Waynetown, heading toward Cherry Grove and Linden. I'm actually familiar with where these places are. And eventually, directly in the path of it, but not in this current warning box, this storm itself will be heading toward the Colfax area, which is northwest of where I grew up. Anyhow, back down to check in on these storms down here that are much, much stronger and heading toward a very more populated area. Just to get an updated look at it. Looks like we're about to have a shift in everything while this thing continues to recycle here just west of Huntsville. So we're going to keep our eye on that one majorly. But up here in McMinnville, this storm here is cycling. This thing has to be tornadic. It definitely is. It's still heading
New
towards
information,
Spencer. This is
this severe
absolutely a tornadic
thunderstorm
storm.
warning has been
If you're
updated.
in Spencer, Tennessee, you need to take cover. You need to be in your safe space at this point. I hope that somebody's listening to me from Spencer. If not, you're listening to somebody or to another broadcaster. I'm fidgeting. My bow is down and I can't get it to fix. Please turn. Thank you. Okay. How many people are watching me? God. I'm screwing this up. Okay, let's take a drink. All right. So, if you are in the area of Waynetown, it looks like this storm is actually in cycling mode. I would actually be advised as to watching this thing regenerate here in the next few minutes, because this storm seems like this is one that's wanting to cycle as these two storms merge. This looks like it could potentially be a recipe to begin to spawn down here south of Waynetown and between Waynetown and Crawfordsville here shortly.
New
We're
information.
going to go
This
check out this
tornado
tornado
warning has
that
been
is over here
upgraded.
by Huntsville, because there's actually a new tornado warning in the area. The McMinnville tornado also, just wanted to say this, over here by Spencer. This is still actually showing to be it looks like it's broadening out a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised, because of looking at the actual reflectivity signature, that this thing is about to
New information.
respawn.
This severe thunderstorm warning has been
Let's see,
updated.
the Huntsville tornado has actually been downgraded from a tornado emergency to just a tornado warning. That does not mean do not stay in your safe spot or anything at this moment. It's just that right now the observed tornado is actually not. It's still showing as observed. I don't know
New
how,
information.
because there
This
was one
severe
before.
destructive thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay, so the Yazoo City severe thunderstorm warning has been updated some more. This is still beginning to really line out. Now there are a couple of notches on this thing as to where I would be concerned with the area. I wouldn't even really be concerned with this one being tornadic at this moment. That would be more of a severe thunderstorm wind threat, because it is starting to bow out, it looks like. The one south of Tupelo, that looks like that one could cycle, but it does not currently have any kind of a true inflow to go with everything in here. So we'll ignore that one at this time. It is still a strong thunderstorm, so I would be cautious. This storm is cycling. This is going to probably produce another tornado on the southwest side of Huntsville. I would almost be willing to bet it's going to be somewhere in the area as to where I have my hand drawing around right now. And that is definitely heading northeast. You're looking at, in the next 10 minutes, this tail flank of the storm should actually produce a tornado that's going to be in there. The Spencer tornado is, again, still looking like it's broad at this moment. It does look like it is attempting to recycle. So give that one a few moments. Let's actually go back down here to Huntsville real quick. I want to check on one thing.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay, so at this moment, it looks like we might be still fine where there's not actually a correlation coefficient to go with everything. So therefore, I wouldn't say that we have a signature for a tornado at this moment, which is a wonderful thing. Similar to these two tornadoes right now. Let's actually check the correlation coefficient on both of these, see if we have a signature. I would say not at this moment. We're not running on anything in those lines. Let's go back just north of Indianapolis here. You potentially have a tornado over here just north of Hillsboro. Let's go back and check through the high res velocity. Yeah, there's a couple right here that pretty much goes right along with the correlation coefficient. I would say there's a tornado on the ground right here, just north of Hillsboro, heading slightly east-northeast, heading toward Cherry Grove and Linden. This storm will be near Elmdale and just south of Wingate here shortly. About to cross Route 25 and heading to just north of Crawfordsville. Okay, so at this moment, at least right now, we're not dealing with any tornado emergencies. We are down to what looks to be 4 tornado warnings at this time. They're still showing to be 6 on the actual screen, so might need to get this updated. It looks like my overlay needs to be updated a little bit. There are some small kinks that we'll be working out over the next few days in order to get everything up and running. just so everybody knows, there are different ways that you can interact. You can interact in the chat on the down below. Unfortunately, I will not be the one that responds to those. They will be given to me through our social media partner here, and we will have the other socials up at the top corner of the screen that everybody can see. So that way everybody can totally be aware of what's going on. I'm going to kind of do it through this screen here so that way you can see above in this area is going to actually be our different social medias you can interact with us on. Recommend you do that. If you have any questions or concerns or anything, you're more than welcome to ask. Now, with that said, our friend in just south of Columbus, Ohio, that's going to inevitably ask us the question here in a little while. By the time that this storm line gets to you, it should be very well weakened for the night. So, just as a heads up, it won't be as bad as it will be right now for people that are going to be west of you. Now, this one it's here north of Waynetown. It looks like this thing keeps cycling. Like it wants to produce and stay down, but it keeps cycling out. Kind of like right now, you just have broad areas of rotation. Again, I think it's because the storms are converging that we are running into this issue at this point.
New
Anyway, we
information.
have a
This
new
tornado
tornado
warning
warning.
has been updated.
We are looking at I see. Okay, so here we are down by Spencer and wow, Manchester again. So these still look like they're pretty healthy storms down here. I mean, the one over in Spencer, it looks like it's trying to recycle in the area we talked about earlier. That is actually heading into the west side of Spencer. So please, if you're in Spencer, Tennessee, please take shelter
New
now
information. This
and
severe
get into your safe
thunderstorm warning
space,
has been
along with
updated.
down by uh, heading toward Boynton Valley. Just I mean, actually it looks like the Noah area is where this, if there were a tornado on the ground, this is where it would be right now. These still appear to be somewhat broad. They are coming together and converging in the Noah area, so just be cautious about that. Let's check the updated, because it just did update. Let's check the correlation coefficient. Ooh, boy. Okay, so you might have something just east of Noah here that could be tornadic.
New
Just
information.
a little
This
bit of
tornado
information on
warning
that
has
one.
been
And
updated.
then over here by the Spencer area, you are looking at that would likely potentially be where, if anything were to occur, would be happening just east of Cedar Grove, just on
New
the west side of
information.
Spencer.
This severe considerable
So-
destructive thunderstorm warning has been updated.
So whenever this thing, okay, so I have a question for you. Whenever this thing gives the alerts, is it saying the alerts through my chat too? No, I'm saying, is it giving the do 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 do? Okay. See, I'm testing the equipment. Okay. So, all right. So with the Huntsville storm right now, you're still looking at, you could potentially have a tornado that's going on here. Oren, are you listening to? Okay. I'm not saying that. It's just I'm asking him. Okay, so I just want to make sure. And then also, because it has that pop up in the corner, is that readable on a smaller screen?
New information.
that.
This tornado warning has been updated.
That's what I mean, like that. So I was trying to give you a heads up. If it's not readable, we need to fix it. So, again, trying to get our tools all right, everybody, so that way everybody knows what's going on. Once again, we are continuing to push forward here on the actual storm coverage. All right, so looking in again at this storm here near the Noah area, that looks like that is actually coming together. Let's check the actual correlation coefficients, see if there's a tornado. There's probably a tornado on the ground just east of Noah, heading east in the area toward Boynton Valley and Farrar Hill, I guess is how you would pronounce that, heading towards State Road 53. It will eventually, if it stays on the ground in its current path, head toward the Morrison area. And this is all in Tennessee again. And then let's check the Spencer storm. There's a little bit of, there could be a tornado that's going on the southwest side of Spencer at this point. We're going to check this out, and I'm going to show you a little radar that a lot of people don't mess with very often, where I can actually see the differential. And with all that, I would honestly say at this point, if there is a tornado, you are looking at somewhere near where State Road 30 comes into Spencer. That is funny how that road jogs like that there. These are items that are something that we'll cover in another or in one of our specials that we will do at some point, where I begin to describe and explain how all these radars work. But so let's go check out the one down in Huntsville. This is the one where there is a massive population of people. Okay, so most of this storm, the worst of it should actually be past the Huntsville area, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. The worst part of all this would probably be somewhere near around the Fleming Hills area. I don't see where there's a tight couplet going on or anything at this point. However, this would be the area as to where would be the main issue at this time. McMinnville and yeah, so this tornado, or this is definitely a tornado that is over here by Boynton Valley. It's actually moved past Boynton Valley, continuing to head
A
towards
new
State Road
considerable
53.
destructive thunderstorm warning has been issued.
All right, so that is the Huntsville thunderstorm warning has now been continued on to a severe thunderstorm
A new
warning
radar
that is a
indicated
destructive
tornado
one.
warning has been
And then
issued.
this is our one over here by Spencer. They are continuing and extending this tornado warning a very long direction, as this has a huge
A new considerable
area of-
destructive thunderstorm warning has been issued.
All right, and I would say again in Spencer, there has to be a tornado on the ground here.
New information, this
Warnings are
tornado
just going
warning has been
crazy.
updated.
This is the one that is up north near Crawfordsville. Okay, so this one has been updated as well. And we are going to continue this. And I would say that in the area of Waynetown, if there is a tornado, it's going to be just east of Elmdale. Per this correlation coefficient here, which is basically where items are lofted up into the air and it's different compared to the other particles that are around it. So the radar interprets it as, hey, there's something here that shouldn't be here, which is why it's different specs in comparison to like the yellows, oranges, and the blue here as compared to the pinks in the area, because those are somewhat alike particles in the atmosphere at that point. And then all right, so back down to this.
New information, this severe
Okay,
thunderstorm
we'll
warning
also
has been
start covering
updated.
Severe thunderstorm warnings in a minute. My apologies. All right, so north of New Union, there's likely a tornado on the ground still heading towards State Road 53. It looks like we might have had. No, it's still going to be there. So it's still northeast of Boynton Valley, heading towards State Road 53. It'll be crossing State Road 53 in the next few minutes, heading toward Mud Creek and then eventually Morrison if it stays on the ground. And then this one this has to be over Spencer. I believe this is probably a tornado, or this has to be a tornado at this point. Right now, I'm not seeing a debris signature, so that is a great thing, but we definitely have everything that is ready to go. This is prime and ripen, which is why the National Weather Service issued an extremely long tornado warning. That is unheard of nowadays for that length of a tornado warning. Down here in Huntsville, possibly northeast of Huntsville in the area just southwest of Ryland. Looks like there could be a tight enough couplet that will cause something here. However, likelihood still is somewhere near the Lily Flag area. Let's go back to the reflectivity, bring that back up. There is definitely a hail core that is going over Huntsville. That is strong hail right here. Once you get past the purples, so purples, as most people are familiar with, is extremely strong rain. Usually it's hail. The deeper the purple, you start getting into the stronger the hail, and then you get into blues, whites, and blacks, which is very, very large. We covered this in one of our series that we still have yet to put out, where I explain how the decibels at Z works. So basically, what that is everything that comes back from a radar echo is in decibels.
New information, this severe
Z is the
considerable destructive
location, and
thunderstorm warning
however
has been
much
updated.
reflects back. So it's kind of a broad area of things. But with that said, that is a strong, strong hail core right here, because that does have the blues. And then down here, as you would see, there is a hail core just north of Cave Springs that's in the purples. Now, strong, powerful hail or thunderstorms going on. Oh, this is starting to really form a hook here in Spencer. That should be going.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
This is where we're going to start to see one of two areas right here. Either it's going to start to develop on the back hook, or this is going to continue to form that it's just over Spencer. And unfortunately, if it does it for the second part of it, it's going to be bad because it's going to be a second wave of storm going through Spencer. Now, this storm here that's just southwest of Morrison. Oh man, I want to see that one under this. Okay, so that's not a debris ball, so that's a good thing. All right, then let's watch it in action. Okay, so this has actually started to fade a little bit, so this has broadened out its rotation. And you actually got to watch a little bit of cloud cannibalism happen over here with the red, where you actually are seeing particles get fed into or get brought into the thunderstorm, so you can actually watch it absorb the rest of it. And then as you continue to watch those, that's looking okay at this moment. Let's go back up here toward the Crawfordsville area. This storm appears to be cycling at the moment. So at this point, I wouldn't say that this is quite as defined as it was before. Just north of Cherry Grove, you're still encountering a hailstorm. It's going to still continue to be. It's still going to be strong. It's not going to be as bad as it was earlier at this moment, but it looks like it's recycling. Just south of E-Town, Kentucky, you're looking at a strong thunderstorm going through here at this point. You do actually have a decent outflow going on with this storm, so I would say that this is still a straight line wind
New
damage
information. This severe
However,
thunderstorm
the one
warning has
over
been
here
updated.
by Nashville appears to be a relatively strong outflow. That's just east of Nashville, just east of Lebanon there. You're looking at relatively strong wind flow. You are looking at that is an outflow wind of right at 60 miles an hour or so. So you're looking at 60 mile an hour destructive outflow winds here. Okay, turning off the radar sights for a moment just to see things. Okay, and then let's head back down here to Huntsville just to check in on this storm a little bit. This is getting ugly. I mean, this actual storm here with how big this hail core is getting just east of Lily Flag. If this gets its act together right here, this will drop again just south of right around the Lily Flag area as it continues to drop its roof flank downdraft down. Looks like you are starting to fade out a little bit. Let's check the national overall real quick. Just that way we can get an idea what's going on. Up here in northeast Ohio, looks like we're just going to continue to stay with rain and everything at this moment.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been
issued. We have
issued.
another tornado warning going on just south of Huntsville. Let's get to a single radar site again. Okay, and then we're going to
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
Still a little bit early on them shooting their shot on this one, but the National Weather Service is right. It does have the right ingredients. It doesn't have a good enough amount of info yet that I would really say that this is a thing, but I mean, it's possible. There's just enough of the air instability around itself in order to do that, but this one in Huntsville, this
New
is
information.
Getting stronger.
This tornado
and down
warning
here by
has
Lily
been
Flag
updated.
is where I was thinking we would get one, and it looks like this is starting to get close to the truth. We unless this is contamination, this is going to be where a tornado is likely forming. As this is at the bottom base of a storm and continuing east. You are looking at, let's just treat this as if it is on the ground, heading toward the Ridgewood and Cherry Tree,
New
Alabama
information.
area.
This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
I'm going to change radar sites real quick just to see if I can get a different view on it. I still have a feeling that that's probably going to be that. Priceville from this angle.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Got a tornado that is south of Priceville. Let's see if I can see another radar site that'll give us a better answer. This is heading, yeah, this is on I-60, or just crossed over I-65, and it's continuing to head east through Priceville, heading toward Rocky Point. And then you also have, let's see here. We don't have anything that's that. Let's go back up to our storms up in Tennessee real quick, check on these. Yeah, so the storm that is heading towards Summitville and Mud Creek, that is likely tornadic at this point. Let's check the correlation coefficient, see if we have a signature. Yeah, that's tornadic. There's a tornado that's heading in between Mud Creek and Summitville, heading eastbound, continuing toward State Road 55 and south of Morrison. And then we're going to go check on our one over here at Spencer, which this storm is still continuing to cycle. I don't know what it's going to do yet. Looks like this one might actually, these two storms might attempting to be joining, which is a good thing in a way for this front storm because that'll help remove some of it. But then you start running into where these are going to form a line and eventually a QLCS, which we'll get into those in the future as well. Now, up here near Crawfordsville, you have points as to where it could be. I would honestly say that somewhere near Crawfordsville is somewhere that I would begin to be a bit more concerned about, as it looks like we are beginning to get a couple that's forming on the west side of Crawfordsville, Indiana, heading east. If you're in Crawfordsville, please get in your space or in your safe space and protect yourself, like an interior bathroom, a basement. I know this area relatively well. This is going to continue to head east toward in between Thorntown and Lebanon. This is going to, and this looks like it's not gotten any better over the last couple scans. So I would honestly, just in case in the Crawfordsville area, you do have a decent amount of rotation going on at this time, treat this as if there is a tornado that is on the west side of town. However, there will be strong winds, and it looks like, you will eventually end up in a hail core whenever the Wayne Town section comes rolling through, where you actually have a decent sized amount of hail. Heading into the Indianapolis area currently, these storms that are heading northeast, this one here that is just, excuse me, that is just southwest of Mooresville. Looks like this thing is actually trying to develop a hook and develop a little bit of a signature down here that is just northeast of Wakeland, heading toward Wilbur and eventually Monrovia. This I would totally be cautious of at this point, as this is looking like this is beginning to try to create a hook echo as well right here on the storm. And this thing's blowing up pretty well and is by itself out in front. So honestly, in the area heading between Wilbur, Hall, and Monrovia, and eventually heading up toward the Mooresville area, please be cautious, as this is, oh no. What's the progress path? Lauren, here. Anyway, with that said, this is going to continue to head up toward the southwest side of Indianapolis. Probably heading toward the West Newton Sunshine Gardens area, heading in the general direction of the Indianapolis airport, or the Indianapolis airport where the radar is. Uh, so that would be, I would be concerned about this storm momentarily.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
We now have another tornado warning that is being issued that is down in the McKinnville area. So this is that storm that I was talking about a few minutes ago in the Morrison area that is continuing to head to the east toward the Summitville area. This is actually looks like it's passing through the Summitville area right now, heading toward Fountain Grove and
New
Bryan
information.
Mill.
This severe thunderstorm
continuing
warning
on with
has been
that. So this is
updated.
going to continue the path toward Vervilla, Mount Zion, and Irving College, as well as let's look at the Spencer storm since we're here. It does look like these two storms are starting to merge. That could cause a big or a brief spin up that's going to be just west of Spencer here as these two storms continue to merge, as their outflow and inflow start to merge. I would just be cautious in that area as we go at the moment, but definitely southeast of Morrison as this storm continues. Let's watch it on the last few. Yeah, this hopefully by how it's looking like it's tracked.
A
the
new
whole time,
severe
it's gonna
thunderstorm
stay
warning
just
has
south
been
of
issued.
Morrison. And I would honestly be concerned about that area at this time. The storm that is just east of Ryland here, that is part of that tornado warned storm that's been, or that we've been dealing with since Huntsville. We actually have a couple that looks like it's starting to develop here. as well. That is east of Maysville. So if you're in or just east of Maysville or Alabama, and it looks like it's heading in through a bit of a wooded area. It's going to pass north of Little Nashville, and it's going to stay in a relatively rural area until it gets toward the Maynard Cove area at this time. Now let's check out the storm that's below that, the one near Priceville. This thing doesn't look as impressive. Let's check that from that other radar angle like we were looking at earlier, because that one gave a little bit better. Yeah, so just east of Priceville, looks like we could still have a couplet going on. This is at the
New
edge
information.
of a couple different
This
radars
severe
crossing.
thunderstorm warning has been updated.
But I'm not really seeing it as much from the closer radar that is northeast of Huntsville, but there is also a strong storm that could be contaminating this ever so slightly. So just stay warned and vigilant in this area as well right now. Treat it as if there is a tornado on the ground. So northwest of Indianapolis in the Crawfordsville area, it looks like they're letting up on all this up here right now. However, this area that is just north of Crawfordsville, where I was concerned about a few minutes ago, still looks to be that it has a little bit of a couplet and everything left to it. It could be a little bit of contamination, but that area continues to actually stay a little bit strong in comparison to the areas around it. So just be cautious at this time. Let's see. Yeah, the storm that is just southwest of Morrison, that thing continues to stay pretty. It continues to stay pretty strong throughout. This last little bit here, it actually looks like it's starting to broaden out a little bit. So that's actually a very good thing. However, that still could get back to growth here in a moment and regenerate. As you can see that hook echo staying strong and steady. Could also be because of the two storms merging at this point while the storm still reforges itself. That's okay, because there's also a storm that's just southwest of it that's actually attempting to merge here near
New information. This tornado
Tullahoma.
warning has been updated.
So the tornado warning that is over here by Huntsville, they are continuing to update that as to, it looks like we have a couplet right here. Exactly. That is over near Jasper Point, just east of Maysville. This couplet looks like it has really come to life like we predicted a few moments ago. Still continuing to head east toward the Skyline area. This will be in the Skyline area in the next 15 minutes or so. So please get in your safe spaces and locations and prepare to buckle down and ride this out. Near the Triana area, I believe that's how you pronounce that. If I'm butchering it, my apologies. How about we just go with New Hope? That looks like that is actually potentially where the next couplet might be. This is actually looks like it's this is this is a strong tornado right here. This is matching up with that. That is going to be there's a tornado here. That's a correlation coefficient that screams tornado right here. That is east of Maysville. This is definitely a tornado in progress. A relatively a large, strong tornado that is there. Definitely the correlation coefficient screams it, as well as this is probably not a hail core and is probably tornado damage at this point, because it is matching up with where that couplet is pretty exactly. With that said, these are, there's definitely a tornado that is east of Maysville and continuing to head in a generally east-northeast direction. That is continuing
New information.
to head toward the
This severe
area.
thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Now, we'll come back to that in a moment here, because the McMinnville one looks like it's attempting to recycle, heading toward the Morrison area. So I don't see that this has a correlation coefficient to match with it anymore like it did a little bit ago. Same with the storms over here by Spencer. It doesn't look like we are matched up with those anymore either. I have a feeling that first tornado warning that is west of Morrison will be allowed to expire here in a few moments.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Now back to just east or northeast of Huntsville. Oh man, that storm that's
a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
This is a big tornado. That is a big, strong tornado in progress. That is continuing to head east. This will definitely be going.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Crossing over State Road 65, it looks like. heading towards Skyline and continuing that pathway. As you can see over the past few frames, this thing has gotten big and is getting larger. And that core and the actual spin here, this looks stable. So this is going to be hopefully not an extremely long track tornado, but this is definitely a tornado on the ground. I wonder if this is cycled in. So if that's the case, because this is going to be almost, or this isn't going to be one where it's going to be running a hook echo and where it can constantly feed itself, because it looks like it's two storms merging here, and that's been the problem, because you can see both of these storms rotating independently of one another here. So they're close
New
enough that they might be
information,
hurting
this
each
severe
other's
thunderstorm
storms.
warning has been updated.
So we'll come check that out again here in a moment. We're going to go look back up in Indiana real quick, because that storm that's north of Crawfordsville has been keeping my attention. Anyhow, this has actually become where the hail core has gotten larger, as predicted a few minutes ago when I was looking at it. We are continuing to head eastward into the Crawfordsville area with this hail core itself. The storm appears to be cycling down. I don't see anything that indicates that this might become tornadic, but we'll keep an eye on that one for the next few minutes. And this storm that is, oh my, how's the National Weather Service not noticing this? So this storm that is heading toward the Mooresville area, this is not showing any kind of a coefficient yet. However, there is enough of a couplet here as to where I would be concerned that's heading in the general direction of the Mooresville area. So if you're in Mooresville, Indiana, please treat this as if there is a strong thunderstorm heading toward your area, as there is one heading toward your area, and that this thing could potentially create a spin up on its way toward you at this time. With that said, this will eventually continue to head in toward the southwest side of Indianapolis.
New information, this
in the
severe thunderstorm
Brentwood
warning
and
has been
Canby
updated.
area, heading toward the Indianapolis International Airport, which is right here, right where the radar is basically showing. It's actually just a little bit west of that, but you get the point. And the storm that is actually southwest of this, that's over by Cloverdale, appears to also be gaining just an overall strength. This is just going to be a hail producer, it looks like at this time, as these continue to charge to the northeast. All right, let's go back down here and check out our strong tornado at this moment. That is, man, this thing looks like it recycled actually north of there. You're looking at, there's two possible tornadoes going on right now. This is not something that I'm used to seeing. So you have where there's a possible tornado here. That's definitely a tornado that's going on here on the map.
New information, this tornado warning has been
on the
updated.
north side of this as well. Okay, so it's going to stick with just the bottom one. Okay, so that was just an outflow. All right, with that said, this is actually still seeming to be a relatively strong tornado that is staying on its path toward Holly Tree. If you're in Holly Tree, Alabama, it's your time's up. It's time to hide. This is heading northeast through Holly Tree. It'll eventually be going through Round Knob and Jacobs Mountain, heading toward the general Skyline area. Sorry, I'm not laughing because of that. It's just some of the names of places is interesting to me. I just wish I knew the stories behind why they were named what they were. Up here, as stated, okay, so just south of Morrison, this is actually looks like it's attempting to be, or to recycle itself again in this area. So this storm looks like it's attempting to recycle south of Morrison. Treat it as if there is a storm or a tornado on the ground in the Morrison area. You are still under a warning, and this is still a relatively strong bit of inference there. Now, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of going on with that Spencer storm anymore. Over here by Triana, just south of Huntsville, I would say that this storm at this moment it's trying to produce something. I don't think it's ready yet. It's attempting to right here, just south of Triana, in this area where you can actually see the greens and the purple, or the greens and the reds coming together. That looks like that is potentially a couplet that is attempting to become something that still appears to be a bit broad. I don't have a good radar angle on it right now in order to give you a true answer. This might be in the area just south of Triana, heading toward Toluca and continuing on to
New information,
the
this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
region or Green Cove Meadows and Burroughs area. This tornado that's up here, this is let's see. The tornado, or there's still a correlation coefficient. It looks like luckily at this point, as we get closer and closer to Holly Tree, that it looks like a lot of the overall signature here looks like it's fading. We need to get into another radar sweep here. So waiting on the next radar sweep to complete so we can give you an answer on this one, because that is a nasty little tornado signature going on right there. Now let's see. We're good at the moment. Let us zoom back in. Okay. Now with the storm up here by Morrison, that one looks like it's starting to cycle again. That one will probably be tornadic here shortly, as it attempts to continue to recycle. The one up near Spencer, I would say that this is beginning to where it's starting to absorb some of the storm below. However, that doesn't mean a brief spin up can't be occurring here just on the east side of Spencer, heading toward Route 285.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Now, I love how my tools interact with each other. It's great. We really over prepared for this, and I'm so happy for it. Okay, so Crawfordsville, that storm is continuing to move to the east. It is still a strong hail producer. It is heading into the town of Crawfordsville here in a moment. I dare call that a city. There is a large amount of people that live there. I do know that for sure. Again, I live
A new severe
exactly
thunderstorm
that far
warning
away.
has been issued.
So this storm will continue to push forward into the Crawfordsville area. I'm not seeing anything that is showing that there is any kind of a storm couplet at this point. This storm is continuing to come in on itself, though, so we will be watching this over the next few minutes as it continues to form a tail that's going to hopefully not begin to create a hook echo. Let's go back down here just south of Indianapolis toward the Brooklyn area.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
The fact that this storm is not getting any kind of coverage by the Weather Service is really beginning to bother me. This storm is continuing to head toward Mooresville and eventually heading into the southwest side of Indianapolis. This thing's going to be strong heading into town. Please, if you're in Indianapolis on the southwest side, please treat this as if this is a very powerful thunderstorm. There will be damaging winds that will be coming with this. That
A
is
new observed tornado warning has been issued.
Where's this one? Where is this tornado warning? This is going to be a McVinwell one.
New information.
Yes,
This
so this is the
tornado
one
warning
south of
has been
Morrison.
updated.
There is a tornado that is definitely on the ground that is east of Morrison, heading toward Irving College. And then also here in the Spencer area at the village at Indian Rock Lake. That is a long name. Anyway, that is, or it looks like we might have a couplet over here as well. But with that said, this is actually the radar indicated. This one over here is also radar indicated at this time. We're going to continue to stay on this with the Nashville radar site. Yeah, that's definitely, those are strong at this point. And then here near the, let's do the correlation coefficient. Let's get a visual on all this. I would say here near McVinville, this is probably tornadic there. The one in Spencer, there's a lot of garbage on the radar right there for me to give you an exact answer. We'll have to wait for another scan because there's a lot of. Okay, so here we are again. Oh man, this tornado that is this one near Holly Tree even moving? I don't know if that one's even moving. But over here near Triana, there appears to be another possible tornado that is coming together just northeast of Lacey Spring, heading to the east. Let's move that up. Let's take a look, see here again. Looks like this one over here near Holly Tree just continues to kind of just hang out. We'll hope for another couple radar scans in order to come up with a better answer on that one. We'll switch to the Nashville radar real quick. Check out Morrison. Warren, are you following my instructions? Thank you. So over here by where the State Road 101 is, there could potentially be a tornado on the ground right here at the village at Indian Rock Lake. Please seek shelter in that area if you are in that area at this time. Over here near, oh wow, that's a new one. Over here near Scott, or just okay, so this is going to be okay, so this one over here, this is just south of Holly Springs. That is still a tornado that's on the ground, and we might have a second one that's actually on the ground over here by Letcher. That's heading toward Route 17. Let's actually take a look at that for a moment, because this might have been one that cycled. Yeah, this looks like another or new tornado that's over here, continuing up toward the Skyline area. So looks like our one that's over here by Holly Lake's fallen apart and might have just cycled off to another one. As you actually can see that we still have two spins going on in the atmosphere right now, although the main dominant one looks like it's over here near Skyline, continuing to head to the east toward Maynard Cove and eventually heading in the direction of Kyles and Carnes, and eventually heading into the direction of Cedar Grove. The top one where the tornado is, I think that's falling
A
apart.
new severe
That was by
thunderstorm warning has been issued.
by Holly Tree, heading towards Skyline. I imagine this is still going to be a relatively strong wind event heading towards Skyline here shortly. So be in your safe spot, protect yourself, cover your head, be in a basement or an interior room, protect yourself at all times. Now, over here, yeah, so this is probably a tornado now. I would definitely say by Lacey Spring, as we were talking about a few minutes ago, that is heading to the east, heading toward the Norton and the Burroughs area, eventually Owens Crossroads, toward the Woodville area. We are approaching what I would consider that to be. This is eventually, I believe this is going to be a PDS storm here shortly. We are not heading toward anywhere that is large yet, so I would honestly say we're not at tornado emergency overall, but we will be there at some point here shortly. The Morrison tornado, the one that's just east of that, looks like it's recycling right now. You have a broad area of rotation, and then over here near Spencer, oh yeah, that is the village at Indian Rock Lake. This has to be a tornado going on. Let's see the correlation coefficient in that area. We're still in an area as to where it's kind of garbage for me to see very well with that radar. What's that one give me? Not much. I don't know if this area is. I don't know this area of the country, so, or to be very specific with you, so I'm going to see if I can find it at different angles because of topography in the area. Yeah, so just south of Midway at Village of Indian Rock Lake, there appears that this is not, it doesn't have a correlation coefficient to match it. However, the velocity radar tells me that there might be something there. There was definitely something there a few minutes ago. The velocity radar,
New
let's go back to
information,
the
this
Nashville
severe
one.
thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay, so the severe thunderstorm warning near Crawford was updated. We'll check that here in a second. If you're in Irving College or heading east of that toward Spring Creek, Curtistown, I would treat this as still being a tornado that'll recycle and be back on the ground here in a few moments. Now, with that said, Sodsy Daisy, that storm, it's starting to look good. We'll watch
A
that
new
one for a
severe
little while just to
thunderstorm
check
warning
that
has
thing
been
out.
issued.
Yeah, we might have two spins going on right here. This might be two tornadoes. You might have twins. Let's see. If that's the case, yeah. Okay, so I would honestly say that this is probably twin tornadoes. You have one that's directly south of Skyline toward Maynard Cove, and then one of them that's over here near Fork Mountain. I'm guessing that's what that says. It's kind of hard to read against that. heading toward the Skyline area. So if you're at Skyline, treat this as if it's a tornado. And if you are in Maynard Cove, obviously it is on you. Your time is up. This is continuing to head toward Kyles and Carnes, I
A
believe was
new
the other
radar
town. Yes,
indicated
that's just
tornado
east of
warning
that.
has been
So this
issued.
would be where I would say that there are probably twin tornadoes going on currently. There is another tornado that was just issued. Tornado warning. Let's pick the radar site over here by Yazoo City. And yes, I can see the couplet. There's a correlation coefficient to go with it just south of Rolling Fork, heading toward Holly Bluff. Apparently, these storms do not like things named Holly tonight. Continuing to head
A new
east
severe
southeast,
thunderstorm warning has
eventually
been
heading in the
issued.
general direction of Yazoo City. Will probably, if by reading this, is probably going to pass between Yazoo City and Little Yazoo down here. But towns that are in the path are going to be Patmos, Holly Bluff, and Krupp. That's interesting. Now, with that said, let's go back up here to the Crawfordsville area. This is actually beginning to look like it's starting to straighten out. And yes, so this storm here in Crawfordsville, okay, so the worst of the storm is actually beginning to pass through you. As this continues to head toward Lebanon, this is going to, looks like it's beginning to want to change up a little bit into almost a straight line wind event. So we'll continue to watch that as it continues to head toward the Lebanon area. And again, let's check out the storm that's just south of. I don't know how they're not doing something about this.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
If you're in Mooresville, treat this like a severe thunderstorm. There's going to be extreme winds heading toward you. I don't see that it's got any kind of rotation that's really going on at this time. We're getting really close to the radar site as this continues to head to the northeast. This is eventually going to be heading toward Canby, the West Newton area, heading toward eventually the Indianapolis International Airport here in the next few minutes. Next 15, 20 minutes, this will be over the airport. So if you're on the southwest side of Indianapolis, start taking shelter. Down here near Eminence and everything, this storm is actually developing a hook. So we should actually be watchful of this one as well, as this has actually gotten to be a little bit stronger over the last few minutes. Now, let's see. Yeah, that one. And then this one's still rotating up here.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
Okay, so this is let's go back to the tornado over here. Okay, so it looks like right now it looks like we've condensed back to one if we have anything on the ground at all at this point. That is going to be, I don't have matched up images. Okay, so it looks like the one that is heading on the west side of Skyline, because the correlation coefficient takes a moment to catch up. It looks like that one may have faded away. Now, but the one that is east of Skyline, this little small guy here, looks like that thing might still be alive because there is enough that it's actually got still a couple going on. It's getting broadened out a little bit. The twins might have actually taken away from each other a little bit in power overall, and that's the hopeful concern that we have at this time. The storm up here that is east of Morrison, that storm appears that it is beginning to be merged into the storm behind it, so it looks like it's losing a little bit of its punch. And let's continue on to the storm that is up here at Indian on the Lake, or Village at Indian Rock Lake. That one still might have something on it that's just east of Route 101, heading toward Nicholson Heights.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
Okay, so this is actually, this is actually right in the area we were just talking about.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
Okay, so we will continue on. Let's look at the Yazoo City one real quick. This one is actually getting decent rotation here, continuing in the south of Yazoo City area. One more time, let's go back to the Huntsville area. Let's continue to check in on this one down here near New Hope. Oh man, this thing's still heading toward Owens Crossroads. This is not getting any better. That is a debris ball. That's a tornadic debris ball. Just there in Norton. That has to be a tornado on the
New
ground.
information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been
That
updated.
looks like there's enough here as to where there's enough possible contamination of the radar for me to not be able to identify it directly with the correlation coefficient, but I would say there's a tornado on the ground, and if not, there's been one here recently on the ground. I mean, there's really strong rotation going with that. These other two, these up here, I would almost allow to drop here shortly. This one up here that is at heading toward Nicholson Heights, this one might be a tornado on the ground. I would treat this as such. Okay. So over here by Thorntown, I'm actually beginning to see a little bit of rotation that's starting to show up a little bit as well. This would be a QLCS embedded. And it's possible with where
New
it's at that this
information,
might be a
this
thing.
tornado warning has been updated.
Okay. I still don't know how these aren't, especially this one. I don't see how this one doesn't have at least a severe thunderstorm warning on it.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
The main core of the storm heading toward the airport is about 12 miles. I don't know how they're not. I truly don't know how they're not doing that. I mean, you're looking at areas here that are side by sides. I mean, you're looking at differences in gate to gate of around 80, 85 mile an hour right now. So honestly, I mean, this is continuing to head northeast toward Mooresville and eventually into Indianapolis. So treat that. But back down here again, still near New Hope. Yeah, this is debris. That's not a hail core. That's debris. That's definitely debris. That's definitely a tornado. There's a tornado on the ground that is heading to the northwest of Owens Crossroads. That is a large tornado signature there in the correlation coefficient. And then you're looking at
A new severe
velocity.
thunderstorm warning has been issued.
That's in Berea, Kentucky. So we'll get to that one in a moment. Yeah, I mean, everything about this just, yeah, says that there's a tornado likely in the area. If not, that's gone away ever so slightly now. You may have a recycling going on. This could also be, this is probable contamination here. We'll ignore that. That's contamination. Let's go check out our friends over here in Yazoo City. It looks like this is actually broadened out a little bit, so this could be nowhere, or this may not be as bad. Just south of, well, heading toward Holly Bluff still. It's still going to be a strong thunderstorm, so treat it as a strong thunderstorm at this time. And let's see. But yeah, the one over here by New Hope is still strong. It looks like if it doesn't have a tornado on the ground, as you do have couples right here.
New
mean,
information, this
tells me
severe
almost that
thunderstorm warning
there's
has
gotta
been
be something
updated.
here, but honestly, it may be recycling at this time. These up here, this one near McKinville should be allowed to expire. I would honestly say that this thing's losing its punch as a tornado producer. Over here, that you still could potentially have something strong that is heading toward the Pleasant View Estates and heading toward the Crab Orchard on the south side of Crossville. Never heard of that town. Let's see here. So let's check out the Kentucky maps because this is actually, oh, hey, oh, you. Okay, so over here by Stanford, there appears to be a relatively strong wind event going on. Let's You're looking at, these are 60-mile-an-hour gusts going on right here in the Stanford area, heading into town. And it's still pushing east into the Berea area, which that's a relatively strong, or that's a relatively populated area. It's going to stay south of Lexington and Frankfort, so no concerns about those at this time. Now, there's nothing going on here in Northeast Ohio of any real concern. So, to keep everybody good there, and there's nothing heading toward Columbus at this time.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
Looks like the one there near Crawfords, or just east of Crawfordsville, it's beginning to line out. However, this little area continuing on State Road 32, it looks like you're beginning to develop a notch. So be cautious about a possible QLCS heading toward the Lebanon area. Either way, you're still going to have relatively strong winds and hail heading toward the Lebanon area. It's going to go through the north side of town, probably near the Hewlin area. Yeah, I mean, you're going to be going through Ewan, probably heading out just south of Elizaville. So, got another strong thunderstorm that's heading into the west side of the state of Indiana. Continuing to look at this one near Mooresville, and I don't understand how they're just not even paying attention.
New
to
information, this tornado warning has been updated.
Mooresville, time's up, treat it as if it's a strong thunderstorm. It's going to pass just southeast of you, but if you're on the southeast side of Mooresville,
a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Be a strong thunderstorm. There's so much going on right now. Okay, so looks like we've broadened out a little bit in the area over here that is continuing east of Huntsville. We'll keep monitoring that one. And then down here near Owens Crossroads, we have what looks to be like it's recycling at the moment. So it's broadening out ever so slightly at the moment, but it looks like it's starting to redevelop. So we're going to give that a few minutes to return. Now over here, heading toward Yazoo City, you have another that one still trying to do its thing over here near Holly Bluff, continuing to head east southeast into
new information. This tornado warning has been updated.
Area of Yazoo City. Sorry, a warning popped up at that exact time. We're going to continue to look into this one here just over near New Hope. This storm is actually, as stated a few minutes ago, it looks like it's attempting to recycle, so long as the storm behind it doesn't fully catch up. And even then, if it does, it might actually just be that little bit that that it needs in order to produce another spin up. So be cautious of that area at this time.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
Continue to stay radar indicated at least, so that's a good sign. So that way everybody knows, in the bottom right of this image, there's actually two more eyeballs. And those two eyeballs will eventually be filled up by other items.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Chaser cams and stuff like that as we continue to go for licensing and everything on chasers. So that way everybody's aware of what's going on. We are working on that.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Actually has been given a special weather statement. So as expected, this is actually going to be a relatively strong weather area. So yes, that spot where we were talking about a few minutes ago, where there's actually a notch heading toward Hazel Rig and Ewan, looks like there's a potential spot where some rotations beginning to occur. A quick QLCS spin up may be occurring here shortly. So if you're in the Hazel Rig and Ewan areas as it crosses over I-65, just be cautious, as this might actually cause a small spin up and a brief tornado to
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Looks like we're continuing our hail threat and our hailstorm that's going through Mooresville right now and just east of town there. So just be cautious about that area right now. It's going to be relatively strong and rough for a few minutes, but you should be all right and should get through it just fine. And let's see here. Let's take a minute here to look this area over. Okay, so looks like we have some near Crossville, near Alloway, and Crab Orchard. This is the one we were talking about earlier, where this is south of that Crossville area, where this might actually at Brady Mountain be currently undergoing a tornado at this moment. Let's see if we have any kind of potentially, yeah, there's enough here that this states that this could probably be a tornado just south of Crab Orchard, heading toward Route 68, going north of Alloway, and it would be on Grassy Cove right now. Continuing to
New
head
information.
east-northeast in
This
between
severe
Ozone
thunderstorm
and
warning
Westville.
has been updated.
So, and then over here, actually over here, just east of Irving College and heading toward Pine Creek, looks like there could be another potential tornado on the ground currently right now, north of Spring Creek, over Harrison Ferry Mountain, heading east. And we will watch the track of this for just a second here. This thing spun up and is going eastward. And Mike will keep an eye
A
on
new
this one up
severe
here.
thunderstorm
same
warning
thing.
has been
Looks like it's
issued.
going on up there. So we have a couple going on there at this moment. And then down near New Hope, this thing looks like it's still trying to spin back to life. Same with the area over by Stevenson at this time, but both of those look like they're currently not on the ground at least, which is a very good thing at the moment. All right, and then east of Cary, it looks like that right now is still staying broad. This over here looks like contamination near Yazoo City, so we'll worry about that one here and later. We'll look at that in another view.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Storm near Berea. Let's check that thing out real quick. Might get a small spin up over here near the Lancaster area, just east of Stanford. We have a little bit of a very broad range of rotation right here. In this area, it looks like we have a little bit of a notch for a QLCS to develop.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
This is that one that we were just talking about down here near Crossville.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Looks like this could potentially be a tornado in progress at the moment. Let's check another radar site, see if we can get something else going. Same
New
here,
information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Could still be going at this moment because you have just enough rotation. This one appears to be a bit more broadened out over here near Crab Orchard. That is possibly that is not Cleveland, Ohio. Don't be concerned. But yes, with this, it looks like there's some broad level rotation near Dunlap, near this little thunderstorm that's existing here. Because this is its inflow right here that's going and feeding into the thunderstorm. So this is the airflow going into the storm. And this will be the airflow that's coming out of the storm itself. So this is the outbound wind. So basically, how you can tell actually here, hold on, let's go to this real quick because that
a new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
So this is our continued, yeah, wow. So we're back to another radar indicated tornado warning that was issued. That is this one over here near Crab Orchard. Continuing to head east-northeast. That's the one we were just talking about a few moments ago. Continuing to head east-northeast toward Harriman, Olive Springs, and Kingston. Should be there here in the next few minutes. We are looking at, between here and Harriman, you are looking at 25 miles or so. So please be in your safe spot and protect yourself if possible. This one down here, that's broad area, which might actually get tornadic because it's starting to look a little bit better organized in the past few.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
Graysville, Dayton, Tennessee. So that way everybody can see that's Knoxville, Tennessee, not Dayton, Ohio.
A new severe thunderstorm
Dayton,
warning has been
Decatur,
issued.
Tennessee, and heading towards Sweetwater. So I would just be cautious of this storm as this continues to progress through its life cycle here. This one near Scottsboro appears to continue to try to put together something that is going to be near Wanville. I'm not even trying to say that one. Continue to head to the east-northeast toward Yucca, Sulphur Springs, and Liberty Hill here in the next few minutes. This thing continues to show that it's got quite a bit of outforce here. It is still close to an outflow, so this will probably just be a straight line wind event. The ones over here near New Hope, it looks like this thing is
A
actually
new
merging with the
severe
storm behind
thunderstorm
it,
warning has
so
been
we'll keep an
issued.
eye on that as it goes for a little while. That storm that we've been talking about on the southwest side of Indianapolis, this thing finally got a special weather statement as it continues to move into the city. For I'm gonna guess this thing is for gusty winds and hail. So that's the ones that we've been talking about for the last few minutes here on the southwest side of Indy. This one that's continuing to move into Lebanon, this will continue to be a hail producer. And just east of Hazelrig, there is a decent little notch right here as to where there looks like there could be some convection. So if you live just north of Ulen towards Stringtown, and you continue up, let's see here, Ulen, and then yeah. So if you live in Stringtown, heading into the Waugh area, I would honestly start to do your storm preparedness and actions. Excuse me. Over here near Brooklyn, well, near not Beech
New
Grove, southeast
information,
side of
this
Indy, but
severe
Beech Grove,
considerable
that's down by
destructive
Brooklyn.
thunderstorm warning has been
This storm
updated.
is actually, looks like it's starting to ramp up a little bit, so be cautious there as well. Sorry for the fast zoom out. So near the Lancaster area over here in the Berea area, like we were talking about a few minutes ago, this thing looks like it could be continuing to start to spin. So I would watch out for that in that area at this time. If you live in Berea, or if you're at, because I know there's an Amazon location in Berea. If you're at the Berea location, I would honestly begin seeking your storm shelter at this time because there is at least a very strong thunderstorm heading in your general direction. And it should be raining there, but the main core of the storm will be there in a few minutes. Let's check out down here. Okay, so near Crab Orchard, there's got to be a storm on the ground. There has to be a tornado here near just south of Ozone. There has to be. Over Black Mountain, heading toward Renegade and Ozone, just south of Crab Orchard. I would honestly bet that there's a tornado on the ground near there. And then near White Hill and Welchland appears to be a area of rotation that's actually starting to come together. Just southeast of McInnville, which this seems to be a hot spot tonight. So watch out right there, right now.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Let's see. Just southeast of Hollywood. Near Pisgah, there's actually, looks like there's an area where convergence is coming together. I wouldn't say that that's going to be rotating at this time. It looks like this storm's given up a lot of its ghost a little bit ago. Could be recycling, but looks like it's actually starting to relax a little bit. This over here by New Hope, I don't know if this has enough to really get going as it's actually beginning to merge with the storm behind it. These are starting to form into, they're beginning to come into a line, so that's actually a good thing as they quit becoming discrete and by themselves. Which leaves, unfortunately, yeah, there's probably a tornado on the ground over here near Kansas Landing. Let's see. Yeah, as this progresses, yeah, as this has progressed southeast. Oh, actually, in that area of rotation, looks like it's started to fade
New
away
information,
a little bit.
this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
And then this storm over here is starting to become kind of discreet and tearing itself away from the other storms. So this one might actually be outrunning them. Just east of Pickens, south of Kosciuszko.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay, so up here near Indianapolis, let's just have a look again real quick, as I wanted to keep everybody informed up here, as there are people that I do know in this area. With that said, looks like we have a notch that's really developing north of Ulen. This could become where a QLCS does exist. That's just here, just west of I-65, heading towards Stringtown. I have a feeling it's going to miss Lebanon completely and head north of it into an area that is south of Elizaville, between Elizaville and Waugh, and continue up toward the, well, potentially the Sheridan area if it sticks together. I don't believe that this will be a long-term spin up, but it is possible that there will be a spin up in the area right in this
A new
area.
severe thunderstorm
That's
warning has been
starting to
issued.
look a little bit better. I would need a better overall from the I would need a better overall image coming in here from the actual
New
velocity.
information, this tornado warning has been updated.
The Yazoo, Michigan, or the Yazoo, Mississippi tornado.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
This is going to stay.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Yeah, so this is going to stay over here in the Crossville area, just east of Harriman. It looks like they finally let our one storm down here in the one that's actually down here that's was over Huntsville earlier. Looks like it's finally starting to break away a little bit and starting to lose out a little. However, it does have a relatively strong wind core that is south of Stevenson, southwest
A
of
new
Yucca.
radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
And this is going to be that continued tornado potentially down here just southwest of Woodville that we've been monitoring off and on. However, again, I'm not certain this is going to stay very stable as these two storms are actually merging together. So I don't think these will actually stay extremely stable for very long and be tornadic. Let's check. But either way, treat it as if there is a tornado. South of Crab Orchard, there's still that area here that looks like this is possibly tornadic. You do have that's potentially a tornado here, just south of Crab Orchard, northeast of Renegade. I would honestly say that this area you might
New
have a tornado
information,
going
this
on
severe
at the moment.
thunderstorm warning has been updated.
As we continue to look through everything at this moment, we are. I need to switch that over to the reflectivity. There appears to actually be a potentially small amount of rotation going on again north of Ewan here. Treat that as if there's actually a tornado on the ground or heading toward. I wouldn't even say that. Treat this as if there's going to be a relatively strong wind event, as this might be a microburst that's going to be occurring here somewhere.
A
North
new
of
severe
Ewan,
thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Well, this is, I know, all rural until you get over to Waugh, and even then, Waugh's a small town. Yeah, this is going to continue east until you get over to 31, which US 31, there's nothing really here. I mean, Hortonville is your next larger town in the range of what's going on, but it's going to stay well north of Indianapolis. The one that's on the southwest side of Indianapolis, this thing continues to still show that it's got a or that it's a hail producer. The bottom storm is actually probably going to go south of town. This one is the one near Mooresville. Looks like it's actually merging with the second storm and is continuing to now progress along the south side of town, heading toward the Southport area into Greenwood. So if my dad's watching, you might want to just keep an eye on things. Now, that's an outflow that's coming out from that storm. That's actually fun to watch. So if you see this little wispy band that's being pushed down, this is actually the cloud, or this is actually an outflow that's being pushed out by the storm. Now you can actually watch this thing here, and this thing comes out at somewhere between, depending on where you're
New
at,
information,
5
this
and 40
severe
miles an
thunderstorm
hour,
warning has been
as this little
updated.
arcing gets pushed and blown away from the storm itself, which is actually a good way to tell that you have a strong thunderstorm in the general area is that big burst that you get. Man, that's actually kind of neat to watch on the radar here. Now let's check out the Berea area. It looks like the area of possible rotation has gotten a bit broader. However, it's still in an open area. If this thing actually develops a little bit of an inflow notch, you might actually see a little bit of a spin up here east of Lancaster, heading toward Buggy Town. There's still a strong thunderstorm that's going to be rolling through Berea here in just a few moments. So if you look over here at Harriman again, that's tornado. That's just east of Crab Orchard. It's still heading toward the Harriman area. Treat this as if there is a tornado as this continues to spin up.
New
Over here,
information.
just south
This
of
severe
Spencer,
thunderstorm
there is
warning has
another
been
tornado.
updated.
This is going to be on the ground here. This is actually going to be heading in the area of, well, once again, you're heading towards Saratoga Springs and Bellevue, again in Village at Indian Rock
New
Lake.
information.
Here in
This
the next few
severe
minutes,
thunderstorm warning
continuing
has
to
been
head-
updated.
Looks like these storms are training with one another tonight. And then potentially heading toward Dayton, Tennessee. Heading toward Graysville right now is another storm that has a bit of broad rotation that could congeal here in the next few minutes. And then east of Scottsboro, you have another spot that might also potentially be that as well. There's a lot of rotation going on with a lot of storms right now. This is actually kind of insane with how much is going on all at once. So the storm over here near Yazoo City, looks like a lot of the rotation with this one has faded away at this time. I wouldn't think that this is actually going to produce again, at least not in the short term with how this is all. You could potentially get a little bit of a spin up here just northwest of Limerick, southeast of Holly Bluff, and continuing to head west or eastward. It'll go south of Yazoo City, probably head in the general direction of Little Yazoo.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Yeah, there's still got to be a tornado that is heading toward the Spencer area. It's passing just south of Spencer. It has crossed State Road 111, is heading towards State Road 30 right now and State Road 285, and continuing on a direct path that'll put it basically through Saratoga Springs in the next 5 minutes or so.
New
Up here
information.
near
This
Crab
severe
Orchard, just
thunderstorm
east of
warning has
Ozone,
been
is
updated.
actually, this is probably a tornado as well going on at the moment. Let's also check the correlation coefficient. That is that area that is really bad to see it in. And over here near Spencer, you have a little bit. I don't know if it's actually on the ground yet or if it's actually causing any damage. It's heading toward
A new
Mooney.
radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
Where's this one calling for it? I have a feeling this is the one near Harriman for a radar issued indicated tornado warning. It's the one we were just talking about a few moments ago. So it looks like basically our area of concern right now is going to be right in through here. The strong, or the one near Spencer. I mean, we've covered for a little while now. Near Harriman, that storm is still staying strong, just south of Highway 40, continuing to head toward Rockwood and Post Oak and Post Oak Farms, so that makes sense. And then over here near Graysville, this thing still has relatively broad rotation as well.
A new
but I
radar
would keep an
indicated
eyeball on
tornado
that one as
warning
well.
has been issued.
This one's actually going to be further back. So we're over here in Louisiana right now. Let's have a look-see at this radar. I'd say
New
that's
information. This
potentially a
tornado warning
on the
has been
ground, if not
updated.
one that has just actually lifted. There's a little bit of broad area of rotation here near Boyce.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
And then this tornado warning potentially here just southeast of Woodville as well. Looks like there's another storm that's possible going on there right now. Okay, that one is still just pushing forward in Indiana. And here, Greenwood, this storm is actually beginning to push through Greenwood at this time. So if you're in Greenwood, time's up. Storm's on your doorstep and heading through. This storm, the worst of it will actually be going or now pushing through Brooklyn, heading eventually eastward into Bargersville and staying just north of Franklin. Okay, let's go back into these down here. This storm over here by Graysville, I'd still be quite concerned about that as you're beginning to get a lot of shear and a lot of winds going opposite directions. Over here by Harriman, that storm is still just looking crazy over in this area. I mean, this thing could be just dropping and picking up left and right at this point, based upon how the images keep going. And then over here, just southeast of Spencer, this storm appears to still be going relatively strong. It's hanging loose. That's a nice correlation coefficient to basically say that there's likely a tornado on the ground right here. Heading towards Sampson, Mount Crest, and staying north of Cold Spring, heading toward 9 Mile, would be the next path on the storm here.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
This is going to be that one that's south of, this is going to be that one down here, where they're going to continue to think that one near New Hope again. I'm also noticing up here, just west of Sheridan, there is potentially a little bit of rotation going on heading toward the general area Sheridan, Indiana as well. And then near Greenwood, there is a outburst of about 40 some odd miles an hour. It's still below severe standards, but still you may blow around loose objects and small objects. How's our storm over here in Kentucky doing? Looks like the rotation's still fading away. So this is going to be a wind event as this continues to form into a full line, which it seems like it's trying to merge with the things that are down in Tennessee, and it's just slowly catching up with them. As you can see that it's beginning to touch them here, coming up close to Crossville. There is still that tornado that is on the ground that is just southeast of Spencer, just southeast of State Road 30 here. We're going to look at this one more time. Yeah, that thing is definitely a decent sized tornado. It has at least been on the ground, if it's not on the ground currently, as we do have a good couple going on right here, south of Mooneyham, just west of Sampson. And then you're looking at, it's actually that storm south of Dayton. Looks like it's finally in
A new
Graysville,
severe
is,
thunderstorm
starting
warning
to
has
actually
been
come
issued.
together. This might actually become a tornadic storm here shortly. They should actually just throw a warning out on this one at the very least here in a moment. Let's check these out down here near Huntsville. The one near New Hope, I would say, is probably one. If not, it looks like it's broadened out just ever so slightly. The ones over near Woodville appear to currently be continuing to increase their overall broadness as well. And then we are going to check out our one over here in Louisiana, which appears to have kind of stretched out a little bit. So this thing appears to have broken up. That warning should be allowed to expire here in a few minutes. This storm is relatively strong, so it may stay underneath of a severe thunderstorm warning, and I could encourage that as well. Let's check the reflectivity radar real quick. Okay, note there you have a few clouds in southern Ohio at this point. Nothing major. Still nothing going on here in northeastern Ohio, and that one is still a Boeing line here in Indiana. Why this storm here isn't becoming potentially warned is beyond me. Do what? Lexington, what? Or Lexington, Kentucky. So just south of Berea, I mean, or north of Berea, it looks like there's
New
a strong
information, this
storm,
severe
but I
thunderstorm
don't see
warning has been
much
updated.
rotation that gives me anything that makes me believe this is tornadic. It's still pushing east into Berea. This is actually going to be a strong wind event. The storm that is over here
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been
south
issued.
of Dayton, I believe this thing's probably tornadic. That's telling me that there should be, yeah, I mean, there's a correlation coefficient that matches up with it as well as the winds. So honestly, this thing should be a tornadic warn storm. Over here near Scottsboro, this is actually a fun little guy right here. Near Eider, this is there's a small correlation coefficient with this as well. This one could be possibly tornadic right here, just east of or northeast of Schrader, heading toward York's Mill and Flat Rock. That might be a tornado that's on the ground as well. And then over here near Langston, it looks like that's debris that's coming down from a previous storm, as well as over here by New Hope. That looks like the debris coming down from the previous tornadoes. So, but yeah, over here near Spencer, that appears to still be a strong tornado going on.
A new radar
And then that
indicated
one,
tornado
yes,
warning
okay,
has
so
been
over by
issued.
Dayton, they finally issued a tornado warning on that one that we've been talking about for about 5 minutes now. The National Weather Service finally just went ahead and issued a tornado warning for this, and you can see it in our little map over on the side one. But so you can see it there on one, and now they've actually put it through on
New
this as well.
information, this
So yeah,
severe
this is
thunderstorm
tornadic
warning
right
has been
here. I
updated.
would say that this is actually a correlation coefficient to match up with our radar or with our velocity signatures here. This tornado over here by Mount Crest and Sarasota Springs, this is this has a decent sized correlation coefficient. This would probably be a strong or a strong tornado. Excuse me? No, I have a drink. Yeah, I could tell my voice was starting
A
to
new
fade out.
severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Okay, now there's a potential or new tornado that is going to be happening right here. That one that's north of Eider. This could potentially turn into a strong storm if this gets its act together all the way here in a moment. As you can see that there is a relatively strong outflow. Let's see if it has the ability to, yeah, it's got a notch where it can produce an inflow and actually get something here near Flat Rock. It'll be east of Flat Rock near the Beulah area.
New information, this severe considerable
consider
destructive thunderstorm warning has been
a possible
updated.
tornado. And then over here near
A
Langston,
new
this
severe
should
thunderstorm
also
warning has been
potentially
issued.
be another tornado that's about to reform. It looks like this storm is also cycling. Same with again over here by New Hope. Another time that this storm looks like it's cycling again right here near New Hope. Of course, with this being the bottom actually of this, it's not really surprising that that is doing that.
New information, this severe thunderstorm
This should
warning
get
has been
warned here in a
updated.
moment for the Eider area going east. This should be under a tornado warning. This one near Dayton, this is that's pretty gnarly looking. Let's get a better view on it.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
I'm yeah, over here. Yeah. I mean, it's like it's starting to line out. That's the thing.
New
That's a good thing.
information, this tornado warning has been updated.
Okay, so they are updating my tornado warning again. Okay, so they may have been a little bit later on this one. This one that's heading toward Dayton, treated as if it's a tornado on the ground now. Dayton, you should probably be already in your hiding places. This was already on you. This is not Dayton, Ohio. This is Dayton, Tennessee. My apologies. Let me get that straight up. It's Dayton, Tennessee. Don't mean to cause a panic on that. My apologies. I would hope that you would be following me on the map, but just in case I wanted to be a bit more specific about this. You should have done that a long time ago. Okay, let's check this one. Near Langston, that one still might be doing its thing. Near New Hope, that one is still cycling. So hopefully it continues to get eaten by that Gurley tornado. And I don't, or by that Gurley storm. And by that I mean
A new radar
Gurley.
indicated tornado warning has been issued.
This is going to be this is probably there. This is going to be the storm over here. Yeah, this is going to be the storm near Eider that's getting a tornado warning. So this is the one we were just discussing a few minutes ago. The National Weather Service has finally issued a tornado warning for this one as well. It's just going to be the storm is just west of 59. I would honestly expect it to cross 59 here in the next few moments. So if you're know anybody that is near Beulah, that's the predicted
A
area
new
again.
severe thunderstorm
And then
warning
heading
has
toward
been
Rising
issued.
Fawn and Kensington should it hold together. This one is by itself enough. This thing could go
A new
for a
severe
minute if everything
thunderstorm warning
goes,
has been issued.
if everything stakes together as it can. Now let's check out over here near Athens or near Dayton again. The one up near Mount Crest is still holding together pretty well. Let's check to see if it's got a coefficient with it. Yeah, I would say this is tornadic in that area right now. So you're looking at over here by Mount Crest and Saratoga Springs. That's likely a tornado going on. And then over here by Dayton, I would say this also is maybe a tornado that's cycling. At the moment, you might actually have a tornado still live going on just east of town. There's not really, I mean, there is a coefficient to back it up. There could be a tornado that is just east of Dayton right now going on. And then let's go check out our storm down here. You have rotation going on just north of Eider again and continuing to move east toward I-59. The coefficient is actually looking a little muddy, so we'll check back in on that one in a few minutes. Near New Hope, over by Guntersville Lake, looks like there's an area that could be actually producing a tornado currently near Langston again. There it looks like you have relatively good area of actually your airflow going two different directions there. And you kind of have what looks like a hail core, but I would almost believe that would be debris based upon looking at that, where the actual airflow is and the fact
New
that
information, this tornado warning has been updated.
They're keeping this as a tornado warning over here. And yeah, I don't understand why they're keeping this a tornado warning in Louisiana. So we are looking at you have north of Pikeville and Spencer, and then the one that's over here by Dayton. These are the two that have been the ones that I've been the most concerned about for a while. The one in Harriman, this thing looks like it's starting to broaden out, especially because of how the storms are beginning to merge.
New information, this severe considerable destructive thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Storm over here that we were discussing over by Eider looks like it's trying to organize the rest of the way up. So let's get that at a closer radar angle. It's starting to organize the rest of the way up. You could have a true tornado on the ground just north of I-75 here shortly. There's an inflow notch right here on 75. That looks like it's also matching up with some of our airflow over here. And then over here, just south of Woodville, I would almost be willing to bet that there is a tornado on the ground over here, just northwest of Grant. You have a relatively strong couplet in the area. And I clicked the wrong thing. I don't see a correlation coefficient to match up with it yet, but it is relatively new. Near Butler Mill, just north of Grant. That would be the areas of importance at this point. It looks like finally things are starting to push past New Hope, so they might be finally getting out from under the gun over there. The tornado warning in Louisiana has been allowed to expire. That should have happened minutes ago. The one near Spencer, or well, east of Spencer and north of Pikeville, is continuing to stay relatively strong. Looks like it might still be on the ground. And then east of Dayton over here continues to look like a very strong storm that might still be in the ground or on the ground as well. Looks like you have a correlation coefficient between these two storms that are saying that they are probably still live.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay, let's check out. Yeah, it's still a strong blowing storm up here. We are looking at 60 some odd mile an hour or 65 mile an hour winds over here near Berea, continuing to push east toward Jackson area.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning
And
has been
actually
updated.
our area over in the wow. So over here in the Somerset and London area, you are looking
New
at
information,
these storms are
this
continuing to
tornado
push
warning has
forward,
been updated.
over the areas unfortunately hit by the tornadoes the other night. This is just going to be a wind event, and maybe some hail. At least, hopefully, this stays. Yeah, the way that this is lining out, I don't see this being anything but a wind and hail event through there, especially with everything that's happened over there in the last few days. Yeah, okay, so that storm is approaching Bellevue, the one that was been the tornadic one over by Saratoga Springs. I'd still say that that thing has a strong enough correlation, or still has a strong enough reflectivity image here and the velocity to say that that might be a thing. However, right now, it may just be atmospheric because we don't show anything that's being thrown up aloft. There's a possible tornado that is east of Dayton.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Yeah, there still seems to be a correlation coefficient that matches up with it between Dayton and Decatur. So that could possibly be a tornado. As well as, let's get a better radar sight for this one. This is still broad over in the area, continuing to head toward I-59.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
And right now, it looks like at least we don't have any correlation coefficients matching up with these storms down here, just south of Woodville and south of Scottsboro. And then these storms that have passed through Greenwood and all that up here in Indiana appear to be continuing to blow through with relatively strong wind. And then the storms that are north heading through, passing through by 31 here shortly. And this is just going to turn into a linear event here shortly as this continues to congeal into a line. And we
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Okay, so they've extended that severe thunderstorm warning, continuing further past Berea now, heading toward Irvine and continuing its path toward Jackson. Let's see here. That one near Spencer's continuing to stay and hang on tough. Yep, it's still hanging on tough. However,
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
There's not really a whole lot that's been changing in the past few scans. This one continues to try to rotate like it wants to be something near Beulah. However, at this point, it's going to be a rotating storm. You can see it in the actual reflectivity, how it's continuing to rotate on itself. but it's not producing at this time.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
And down here near Grant could potentially be a new storm going up here in the next few minutes.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
Let's see. Yeah, this one right now still here just south of the village of Indian Rock
New
Lake.
information, this severe thunderstorm warning has
This
been
might
updated.
actually be a tornado on the ground heading toward Melvine at this moment, or Melvine, and continuing heading its way toward Owlway and Grandview. The storm down near Decatur looks like it's broadening out quite a bit, so this one might actually lose its tornado warning status here shortly, as well as finally the one over here by Harriman looks like it's really starting to broaden out quite a bit. Looks like you're continuing with a strong straight line wind event that's going to be beginning to occur really heading between London, Tennessee, all the way down. I'm sorry, London, Kentucky, all the way, actually, it's going to be higher than that. Richmond, Kentucky, heading all the way down in toward these storms that are down here near Harriman and Crossville. There will be some areas as to where you could have a couple of embedded QLCS tornadoes, like might be running into something that is just north of Berea heading toward the Richmond area. It looks like there's a little bit of a couple that's trying to form for a quick spin up, and then also down near Pongo. Actually, it'd be near Lunar, Kentucky as well. Looks like you have a small couple trying to form there. Let's check these things out again.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
This is going to be that one storm that we've been focusing on over here. That was the little guy that we were working on earlier. So you might have a tornado going on now, heading over toward the 59 area. This has been the one that we've been watching spin. We watched spin on the radar on itself for a little while.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
We're going to issue the tornado warning just because it's got enough rotation and it's just not going to take a whole lot for it.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
It's already in a ripe area. And this storm up here, as it was going along there for a little while, was looking pretty gnarly. You might have finally, that one near Melvine might have finally weakened out a little bit. And then
new information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
As well. Still by itself is still a discrete storm. It hasn't merged with any of the other lines, so but it is continuing to head northeast and will be beginning to merge with the main line of storms as it gets closer to Knoxville, Tennessee. And then let's get a better radar angle. Let's see it again. So this storm that's here just west of I-59, it's still relatively broad. And then down here near Scottsboro and Woodville, you can actually see the rotation occurring in the actual velocity indexes here. However, it's still relatively broad. So at this point, I don't see any real strong tight couplets.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
But over here near Melvine, again, this is a relatively good and strong area of rotation, so I wouldn't be surprised if this attempted to redrop. South of Woodville, this one might actually be attempting to reform. At least it's east of New Hope now.
New information, this severe considerable destructive thunderstorm warning has been updated.
That's a lot of words. So this one that's near Athens, Tennessee, this one continues to try to rotate and bring back on itself.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
They've updated our little guy down here. This is continuing to just try, but it's still very broad. I don't see where this is ready to go yet.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
This is going to be our one up here near Decatur. That they're saying is updated. Let's see. Yeah, so this is beginning to become a linear event, a straight line wind event, as this line here continues to congeal between basically Lexington down. As you can see, that it's becoming basically one wall with severe thunderstorm warning. With as you continue further south, you're running into the actual storms that are discrete. There's a possibility that over here near
A new
Section,
severe
this could
thunderstorm
actually
warning has
become
been issued.
tornadic. So be cautious in that spot. Our tornado warned storm here near Eider is actually extended its severe thunderstorm warning further. The one near Woodville and Scottsboro, this thing still appears to be kind of broad, but we could use an updated radar scan. Not really a whole lot going on here right now. The one near Crossville looks like, or that's I'm sorry, that's north of Melvine. Looks like this area is starting to lose a little bit of its rotation and convergence as it continues to be absorbed into that linear section of all these storms here. So that's a good thing, as this will continue to potentially reduce the availability of it to produce a tornado, which is a good thing all in all. This one that's here just north of Athens, this thing looks like if it could get its act together, again, it could potentially produce another one, as it's still currently discrete. Let's watch its movement here in the last few frames. This is trying to stay actually south of Harriman in the storm line that's there. The storm near Lafayette, this one might actually have finally figured out how to do what it needs to do. It looks like it's actually got a decent amount of rotation to go in and on itself. So this actually could be becoming tornadic somewhere just north of Beulah, heading toward Plum Nelly. And that was probably the most redneck I've ever sounded in my life. Hmm. We're continuing to watch these storms here. This one here should probably lose its tornado warn. This one might maintain its tornado warn status going forward a little bit. Because again, it
A
is
new
discrete.
severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
However, it does not look like it's actually forming in back on itself. It might have a little bit of rotation really beginning again here right around the Decatur area, because this would be its actual inflow notch here. And then Same over here with just west of Melvine. This might actually form its next notch area. But the problem is these storms are still merging at this point. So they're starting to become more of a severe thunderstorm line. I have a feeling we're going to start seeing some of these here fall apart here in the next 20, 30 minutes as they continue to merge into the line itself. There's still going to be a strong thunderstorm, but it's going to become a straight line wind event and a bow echo as this continues to push on. There are a few storms. Let's check out the ones up here. The storm line is continuing to push across basically north of Indianapolis. And then the one that went through the south side of Indianapolis is continuing to push off to the east as well. Neither one of these are actually severe thunderstorm warned. These are actually just underneath of a special weather statement, or they are just south.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated. New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
The storm that's south of, or that's near Decatur is going to continue to push.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
This is again in Tennessee. Just keep an eye out as you continue on with that. But I do feel that as this storm continues to push to the east-northeast, that as it gets closer toward Loudon and Lenoir City, that you're going to start to see where all these begin to merge.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Yeah, this is beginning to become a severe thunderstorm complex at this point.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
7 seconds. Yeah, there looks like quite a bit of broadness right there.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
It continues to try to rotate on itself. Yeah, it's beginning to look like it's trying to continue to rotate on itself, but it keeps staying relatively broad. You do have a couple of inflow notches here on this storm. You're looking at near Bradford subdivision and section. That could still potentially spin up. They are broadening out as well. And then you're running into most of these others. Man, most of these other storms are actually beginning to absorb themselves into the radar or into the bigger lines themselves. That's a good size hail core there. And this is, I would say, beginning to lose some steam as a storm over here. This looks like it's getting broad. It doesn't look like it's actually congealing and staying as a tornadic section. It looks like they'll eventually begin to allow some of these to, when those expire here in like 8 minutes or so, they'll probably let these just expire. Because I don't see anything that's in these that actually continues to say, hey, we should continue to let these be. I mean, the one south of Crossville over here, south of Crab Orchard, maybe as you still have a bit of a rotational area in it. Yeah, there's really just looks like everywhere that's possibly tornadic. I mean, except maybe this storm here is just looking muddy and messy, and even this one doesn't look amazing by how it's set up right now. I mean, it's by itself at the moment. It's the storm that's south of it near Fort Payne and Scottsboro is attempting to begin to merge up and come together with it. And it looks like if you watch
a
it,
new
you can
severe
actually see where
thunderstorm
it's being
warning has
pulled
been
and starting
issued.
to be cannibalized together by the other storms. So I don't know if this is going to be a problematic storm for much longer. And just west of Owlway, that could potentially be a tornado. Let's look at it from this angle. Where's Owlway? There you are. Potentially. I mean, you have overlapping radars at that point. They're kind of giving a similar idea all at once there. Just that it's at an unfortunate spot as to where it's hard to see what's really going on. But yeah, the Kentucky storms at this point, everything in Kentucky is just going to be straight line winds. And then here in Indy, looks like these are continuing to just push east. These are still underneath the severe status, continuing to push east. These will be across the Ohio line in the next few hours. They're going to continue to weaken as the night goes along, so they should be here with a relatively weaker storm. That won't hit the Columbus area probably for a good, probably 4 hours and change. South of Crab Orchard might be an area that could potentially be tornadic here shortly. However, it's looked worse and worse over the past few radar scans. But this is the bottom end of the line, so the likelihood of it being the area that actually produces is higher. The areas over by McMinnville and Spencer, I'm not surprised. All this area has been put underneath the flood warnings because of everything that's been going
New
on
information, this severe thunderstorm
considering all
warning
the
has been
storm training,
updated.
as we had talked about earlier. These tornado warnings are likely going to be allowed to expire. We have 5 minutes, and then that one's in 20. So yeah, we are probably about to lose most of our tornado warnings in the next few minutes. All right, we're going to cut it as this was our first run. I say that we did a relatively successful thing. If you have any comments or ideas or anything you would like to recommend for the next couple of these actual sessions, please make sure you let us know. Give us to us at the social medias up here, above that, as well as, get it or send a message in these actual videos. Once again, thank you. Good night.